Superbooth 2025. I'm here on the booth of Moog with Eric Norlander, Director of Product Development. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. Good to see you.
And you have something new for Superbooth.
It looks that way.
You have the Moog Messenger.
Yes.
So is it, let's say, the successor of the Sub 25, or is it an independent new product?
This is absolutely an independent new product. This is the first new Moog synthesizer from Moog, created entirely under the InMusic umbrella. So, as you know, 70 years ago, Bob Moog started making instruments for musicians. In the 1950s with the theremin, in the 1960s with the modular Moogs, in the 70s with the Mini Moog Model D, in the 80s with the Memory Moog, and so on. With each iteration, Moog made each new instrument a little more efficient, a little more innovative, and now with the Messenger in 2025, we're still carrying on that same tradition.
And it's based on what? On the classic Moog modular oscillators, or is it something new what you developed?
It's a new oscillator design, and yeah, let's start with that. So it's two analog oscillators, and they are continuous shape oscillators. So similar to what you'd find in the Muse and in the Voyager. So you can go continuously from triangle to sawtooth to square and then through the various pulse widths. But what we've added in the Messenger is another dimension. You can actually go into a wave shaper and do a wave-folded triangle wave. So you can go from a wave-folded triangle wave into a clean triangle wave and then into the sawtooth, square, and then the full pulse width.
So the wave folder is limited to one specific waveform?
Yes. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do a wave-folded sawtooth or square wave. I mean, it sounds the best on, obviously, triangle or on sine wave.
Is it the same wave folder as in the, how it's called, in the of the little of the DOI synth?
It's the wave folder circuit is taken from the Labyrinth, actually.
Labyrinth, okay.
Yes. So we took the wave folder technology from the Labyrinth and then combined the continuous wave shape technology from some of the other synths.
It's unusual to have a Moog synth with wave folders.
It is. We're taking the best of East Coast and West Coast now and putting them in this instrument. So you have that on both of the oscillators. We also have a sub-oscillator, but you'll notice something really interesting. We have a continuous wave shape on the sub-oscillator as well. So you can go from triangle to square and then full pulse width on the sub-oscillator as well. And this can be modulated just like the wave shape on the main oscillators. So you can modulate all three of those independently.
They are not through zero, no, the oscillators.
I'm sorry, the FM between the oscillators is through zero. It's linear through zero FM.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I got that wrong. And that's actually a very cool feature. We want to make sure that things like the Magnolia don't have all the fun, as cool as that one is. Yeah, it's a new oscillator design. So
And I see you have also noise generator. That can be mixed into. It's what kind of noise generator?
it's white noise.
White noise.
White noise only. We can obviously modulate the level of any of these. We can modulate the wave shape of the sub-oscillator independent from the main oscillator. So even though the sub-oscillator is derived from the main oscillator, we can modulate its wave shape independently, which is something that you don't see on many synths at all. I think this is a very innovative feature. This is something that Steve Dunnington, our VP of Engineering, came up with, and we were all very excited about this. So here you can see in the hardwired mod section, you can modulate this, and then over here with the LFO, we can modulate oscillator one wave or the subwave as well.
And how many you can modulate oscillator parameters? Is it just one or?
You can modulate any of the oscillator parameters. So we have a few hardwired routes here, but then we also have these modulation assign routes.
So like on the Muse.
Yeah, exactly. You hold this and then you turn the destination, and then that sets the amount.
So it's
you can do
similar
that.
to the Muse assignments.
Exactly.
You did,
You see, you're beating me to it. I don't even have to tell you about this. So you can do that with the filter envelope, also with the amplitude envelope, or with the keyboard. So all of this gets mixed together, and it goes into our filter. And we actually have a new filter design, which is kind of a big deal for
So
Moog.
not a classic ladder filter.
So it is a classic ladder filter. We have everything that you know and love about the Moog, the Bob Moog transistor ladder filter, but we've added a few new things. So we have our regular 4-pole transistor ladder low-pass filter. That's the same sound that you've heard for decades. So if you want the classic Moog transistor ladder filter, you have that. We've also added a 2-pole low-pass mode. So this is going to give you the sound of like the Oberheim filter or the Mark I ARP filter. Then we also have a 4-pole bandpass, which of course is 2-pole on either side, so 2-pole high pass, 2-pole low pass, and then a 4-pole high pass, and both the bandpass and high pass filters are resonant.
So it's an entirely new developed filter. It's not like, because on the Muse you have 2 low-pass filters and 1 with high-pass filter.
Right.
So it's different implementation here than on the other Moogs.
Exactly. You're telling the story for me. That's perfect. So, and we have something extra cool. As you know, on the ladder filter, when you turn up the resonance, you get a bass drop. The bottom drops away.
Usually with Moogs, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we have this new function called res bass. And when you press res bass, it does pole mixing to bring the bass back in. So it's like a bass compensation thing. Yeah.
Good improvement.
So our lead hardware engineer, Rick Carl, came up with this along with this whole new filter design. So I think this is a big step forward for Moog. We have everything you love from, the classic Moog sound, and then some new functionality as well with the multi-mode filter, with the 2-pole, and of course with this res bass bass compensation.
And I see classic envelopes.
Yes, classic ADSR envelopes. They're hardwired to filter and amplifier, but as we mentioned, they can also be assigned to other places if you want to route them elsewhere.
There are multiple destinations, or just one, or
Just to one at a time, in addition to the hardwired routes.
and they keep. If you assign it to a different one, they keep the filter.
Yes,
assignment, yeah.
right. Yeah, it doesn't bypass the filter. It still goes to the filter. Now, of course, if you don't turn this up, then it won't modulate the filter. So the envelopes can be velocity sensitive, and the envelopes can loop as well. They can be multi-trigger or the classic legato mode.
Okay, I see. Yeah, looping, multi-triggers. That's also pretty unusual for Moog synth.
Yes. So we give you 2 trigger modes for it. You see we have a sequencer and an arpeggiator. So the sequencer is 64 steps, and it's taken from the Muse. So we have a lot of the generative and probability functions that come from the Muse. And then the same thing with the arpeggiator. If you play the arpeggiator, well, I'll play this later. Okay. If you play the arpeggiator, well, here, let me play something because you won't hear it right now. You can actually mute certain steps. Here, I'll do this. Then we'll play it later. So you can actually mute certain steps to create patterns. So it's not just a straight arpeggiator. And then you can also apply note probability for your generative
all these beautiful little goodies.
Yes. So it's not just a straight, boring arpeggiator.
And it's limited to 64 steps, yeah?
Yes.
And I see you have decided to omit or to not taken a screen on it.
Yes, this was very much by choice. It's very cheap to put a screen on a synth nowadays, but we wanted the Messenger to be very much hands-on. We wanted it to feel like a classic analog synth where you turn the knobs and you push the buttons, and this is how you get the sound.
So there are no super deep or deeper menus where you need to push several buttons, or?
There are some deeper functions where if you go into settings, you can set some of these secondary functions, and then basically you get a value from 1 to 16 that shows up on the buttons here. But it's a very simple interface.
So you
And it's not-
guarantee, so you guarantee it works fine without the display. Yeah?
Yes, of course. Yeah. But yeah, we don't want you to be doing menu diving. We want you to be turning knobs and playing music.
And what I see in the press already, because I know it's several days in advance already, you have also added plenty of I&O on the Messenger. So interface for inputs and outputs.
Yes, we have USB-C. We have 5-pin DIN, MIDI in and out. Of course, out can also be through. Then on 3.5 millimeter mini, we have gate and CV out, gate and CV in, clock out and clock in. And then we have 1/4 inch for expression and sustain, a 1/4 inch external in, which goes into the filter. And if you don't plug anything into the filter, this becomes a feedback control.
So your typical Moog,
Yes,
mini Moog.
of
feedback.
course. And this can be very aggressive. The feedback circuit has a lot of gain into it.
Talking for the external input, you need to play a note to that the audio goes through, or it goes always through the filter.
I'm sorry.
It opens the VCA if you play a note, or does it works?
Oh, you mean if you want it to self-oscillate?
No, I mean if you put now an external input into the if you now put an external input into the filter.
Yeah, you still have to gate it, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
So it not automatically passes the signal through the filter.
Right.
You need to press the note.
The gate, yes.
Okay, the gate. Okay. And how about the gate in and CV in? So you can modulate. Can you modulate with CV something, or for what purpose are the gate in and gate out? So you can trigger it with.
Yes, you can trigger. You can trigger the VCA, trigger the envelope, trigger the pitch of the keyboard from an external source.
And the keyboard outputs also the CV gate.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And the arpeggiator and the sequencer.
Okay. That looks very dense in features.
Yes.
This pretty sleek device here, because it's pretty thin, I think, from the design.
Yes. Well, we wanted it to be very simple, but for the power user, we wanted to put enough extra functionality that you would have everything you want.
And the keyboard is a new one from.
It is a new custom keyboard
With
with velocity and aftertouch.
Okay. Maybe it's time for some sound demos. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
There are 256 presets in Messenger, and because there's no display, we include this insert that tells you how they're organized. So like the Muse, the first bank of 16 is sort of a best of, the top presets from each category, and then from there, each group of 16 are set up into different categories. So classic bass, modern bass, sub bass, hard lead, soft lead, arpeggios, orchestral, keys, pads, etc.
Okay.
So it's a really nice collection of
Presets you can save in.
you can overwrite all of them if you want. So there are 256 slots. We filled up the first 15 banks, so there are 240 presets that come within, and we left 16 blank so that you can write your own in without having anxiety about what am I.
And how about preset management? How you import and export? Is there an editor or something like this, or a patch management system?
Obviously, you can do import and export with SysX. We have an editor planned, but we don't have a release date for it yet.
And now for the beginning, you're doing it with USB-C, or how do you, for presets import and export? Is there?
You can do a full bank SysX dump or individual.
So for the
preset.
beginning, it's just SysX.
Yes, just SysX.
Okay. the Moog Messenger will arrive when on the market, or is it very soon, or in development, or?
It will arrive in June. I don't know the exact date. We have to look at the marketing materials for that. But you'll put that in your article.
And price points? I have something in the head, 899, or?
I think that's right, yes.
Okay.
But please get that from the press release.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
And hope you enjoyed the Superbooth 2025. Bye.
Bye-bye.